Hello, hello and welcome. It is February already. Thank the Lord. January is a killer of a month, isn't it? But we made it through. I've got a few interesting tools that we're going to be using today. Okay, so not particularly in our cover artwork, but for the rest of it, you might want a toilet roll. I will go through why shortly. I've got a Tombow black, and then I've got two different paint brushes, quite a wide round and a smaller one. Let me have a look at the numbers for you. I've got a series 60, oh no, a size 6, sorry, and a size 0 on the paint brushes. And then my gorgeous Japanese watercolours I will link for you below. I got them on Amazon and I do need to refill some of them. I do love using these, but obviously all of the colour numbers are in Japanese and I don't speak Japanese, so I won't be able to give you any colour references. I'll just be able to point out tones and colours that we'll be using today. So also, what isn't in camera is a hairdryer. So we are going to be using a hairdryer. Normally I'd dash upstairs to dry. I'm going to dry it a little bit on video with you today because I want you to show how fast we need to work to get the effect that we're going for. Now, do you want to see what we're doing? Let's have a look. I feel like it's a bit of a dark romance vibe, a bit of a grungy heart vibe, bleeding heart maybe. I'm okay, don't worry about me. I just really liked this. I really liked this effect. So you don't need to worry, I don't have a bleeding heart, I'm very happy. But I just thought we always go for a romance feeling to February, and we've done self-love. I just don't really like all of the twee hearts, and this just kind of gave me vibes. I love dark romance books, so it was giving me that kind of vibe. Let me show you the template that we are working from. So here's our cover page with our bleeding heart. And then, oh, it's upside down. We've got our week to view with some heart details on. This is where the toilet roll is going to really help you out, because we're going to do a little tutorial on how to kind of use the toilet roll to get that heart shape. They're just really messy watercolored hearts, different ways of making a mess and being creative. So all of your little daily hearts, and then your habit tracker, we've got 3 different hearts there, and then our mood tracker, really sketchy, and you can colour in each one as and when applicable depending on your mood that day. I haven't put the key, but you've got space there to put a key. And then as always, you've got the titling pages if you want to create your own spreads. So let's get started. I'm going to start just by going through this little idea I've got of using the toilet roll. And this is mainly going to be on your daily pages, because unless you wanted to do your own version on your cover page, you could do a few of these. It's just not big enough to do the heart shape that I want on the cover page. But you could do various different ones and fill the page. That would be nice. So with the toilet roll, you're just going to slightly bend the top edge so it gives you that kind of heart shape. You can manipulate it a little bit depending on how bendy or how sharp you want your heart to look. You could squeeze it down there actually, and that's going to give you a bit more. I just want to give it a bit more of a curve over there. Oh, there we go. It's a heart-ish. And then okay, so now we've got our heart-shaped loo roll. We're going to just load it up with some colour. I have put a mix of reds that I've got going on here, and I'm just going to add that to my heart, and then we're just going to use that as a stamp. So we're just going to go like that. Now you've got the option here, you'll see from the template that there's the idea of filling that in which case just get a little bit of water on your paintbrush and just pull the edges in, just like we did on the Christmas baubles. You can pull it in a lot, you can pull it in less, you can make it solid, you can keep it as just an outline. Let's do this one solid. Okay, so we're gonna just neaten up that edge and we've got a nice heart. So you can see how this is going to work on your daily pages. Let's zoom in a bit. That's going to work out just perfect. And if you wanted to do this, oh, actually, I'm making a bit of mess, but I'm going to leave that because I want that. We're gonna get messy. You know, I love getting messy. We're going to get messy in a bit. So, and then I'm going to put another one down there. I like that it's a bit of a squiff. So with this one, let's keep this as an outline. So I just want to add a bit more to it. What we might do is get the hairdryer out whilst this is still wet, because that could be good. I'll show you how that works. So there's another heart. Let's get the hairdryer out. I'm going to turn it this way because I want the water to fall down. I want the paint to go that way. Excuse the noise. I'll try and buffer it out maybe. I'm going to turn it up. That's what we're after. Got a drip. You might be able to do it as well if you have put enough paint on. You might be able to do it wherever it's standing. But that's what we need the hairdryer for, to give you some of that. And then we're also going to use a full loaded paintbrush, and we're going to tap to get some splodges. So we'll be using these kind of details for our little pages and building up the bits and pieces throughout the template. And really using the same idea for the cover page. It's just with the cover page I wanted like a larger heart for myself, but you could certainly do lots of mini hearts on your cover page. It doesn't have to be. You can just use this literally as the tutorial that it's meant to be. What we could do as well is we could get our finer pen and just get a bit of a darker colour, and we could just do like, make it really messy. Oh, I like that. I like it. Let's do one more solid heart and then I'll move on to the tutorial. So it's quite creative really, I think, if I do say so myself. But you could use, you could actually make your own. If you've got some cardboard, you could make a bigger heart. You don't have to use just a toilet roll holder. What is it? Toilet roll? Toilet roll inner. Is there an actual word for it? I bet it has got a word. I bet it has got a terminology for it. So let's fill this one in and just make it messy. Let's see if we can get it to dribble. I'm just going to catch the dribbles a little bit on this one because it's going to keep going. I made that one very wet, so I'm just going to catch that a bit. But let's see if we can get this one to just dribble. Maybe not. It needs a little, oh, if we give it a bit of a bang, oh, it did something. There we go. We got a dribble there. So there we go. That's the kind of technique we're going to be using. I hope you enjoy it. It's good fun, isn't it? It's good fun getting messy. I've always liked getting messy, you know. Lots of splodgers and dribbles and messes. So there we go. Let's get started with our template. Okay, so as always, I start with just a rough sketch. So if you can see it, there's a tiny faint heart on this page, and that is where I am expecting my heart to be. So if we're looking and going by the original template, which I will be doing today, I'm gonna have a background of some like watercolour red. So I'm just gonna load my brush. My water is already very red because I've been using it already today. So I want there to be some kind of smudging up into this corner, up into that corner, and then down here at the bottom. And then I'm just going to use my mix of reds to put some colour in here. Not a lot, just I actually want it to be a bit more red than I've got here. It's quite dark. So let's maybe go a bit pinky redder. So just using the water that's already on the page and pushing the paint into it. So that's what we're doing to start with. And I say, as always, with this paper, it isn't watercolour paper. In our bullet journals, you might have got yourself a lovely watercolour journal, which is great. You don't have to worry about loading it up as we do, but we have to go a little bit steady. But we know, as always, that we're going to be using this journal and it will help flatten the paper out. So although it's going to look a little bit bowed at the minute, it's going to come back because we're going to be using our journals all year round and it's going to flatten out. So I'm going to leave that to dry and then we'll come back and work into it. Okay, so as you can see, that's all gone lovely and kind of stained watercolour background. So now I want to go in with a slightly darker red and I'm going to put a little bit more, that's the colour that I'm mixing together, put a little bit more pigment into it rather than water, because we're going to again build on this and hopefully we can get some of those bleeding bits. So I'm going to do just a heart for now. Heart shape, really straightforward, she says. But it is, isn't it? I'm sure, like, we just go into our youth. I'm sure we were all drawing hearts on our exercise books when we were younger at school. One of the first things that we know how to do. Right, so now we're building and I want to put more colour in and I want it to go a little heavier towards the bottom because this is where I want those drips. So we're just putting, again, being careful not to put too much because we know the paper can only take so much, but I think as you're working you kind of get to know your limits. Now I'm going to use the hairdryer, so I want it to drip this way, so that's why I'm turning my page the opposite direction so the air is moving in that direction. Let's go. You need to move quick. See, there we go, there's one drip. And we get some more. We get some moving from over here maybe. There's one coming there, another one. So we got some good drips there. I'm just adding a little bit more pigment and colour down there, and we're going to go again with the hairdryer. See if we can push them out a bit. We're going to go, needs a bit more water, I think. This is why you're actually never going to know. It's going to just have to happen organically. And you're going to have to go with it. Whatever happens, happens. There we go. See if I can get that one to budge. I might have to leave it at that because this one here is running away with itself. So that's where we're at the moment with our bleeding heart. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add some splodges, so loading up the paintbrush, and then we're going to splatter, tapping and just kind of filling in around those sides. And now what you can do is you can build colours. You can do some which are more red, you can do some which are darker, you can even attempt to just do spots and build. These spots that you're building, they might be quite good to... We basically had a child coming into my room. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use the loaded paintbrush and splatter. And I think what I was saying is you can add dots if you don't feel that you're getting big enough splodges. You can do that. Or if you wanted, you can just like smack your brush on. Also, because we just want to make it messy, you can do that as well and just blur that line up a bit, and keep adding and building as much as you want. Make it as messy or as clean as you want. It's your, oh, that was a big splodge. It's your design, and also you can't really massively control what's going to happen. So that's what I kind of like about it, because it just takes a little bit of a life of its own. So I'm actually gonna just try and blur these edges. I've got quite a thick line, so I'm just going to go in and dot around. You might want to, let's try that with something a bit smaller, see if we can get, yeah, that's a bit better, I think. Just to blur that line a bit so it's not as open, sorry, it's not as solid, and just mess it up a bit, mess it around, try and blend it in with the background, and kind of, if you keep pushing it out, there we go, just messing it up a bit so it's not as neat and tidy. Are you seeing the vibe? Basically messy, that's what we're saying. Anything goes as long as it's messy. Okay, I'm happy with that. So when you're happy with how messy your heart is, let it finally dry, and then we'll come back and do the extra details. Okay, so when you're happy with how dry it is, we're going to do our titling. So using my black Tombow in the fine liner side, I'm actually just going to, mine's still ever so slightly wet, so I'm just going to cover there just so I don't smudge it, and just do our February title. And then finally we're going to add in our month. Actually, I'm going to pop the month down in the corner, so using, as per usual, my monthly stamp, which we sell as a set on our website. And 28 days has February, so normally I would use my finger, wouldn't I? So I'm going to be a bit more considerate and use a tissue to rub off 29, 30 and 31, and then we're going to go, so we are working 2025 on Patreon, and on YouTube we will be a year behind. And there we go, that's our monthly bullet journal, our dark romance bleeding heart. I hope you really enjoy getting messy with me today. As always, I would love to see what you guys get up to. Tag me in any of your creations, and I'll see you next month.